In this video, we're going to break down the first step of a data science project pipeline, which is data preparation. And data preparation has four main stages. First, we're going to collect the data and we try to understand the data. And we check if there are any duplicates. If so, we need to remove them. And finally, we will be handling the missing values. So let's start with importing the necessary libraries that we're going to use here. We import pandas, Seaborn, and Matplotlib. And we do some simple adjustments here just to make our output look better in our notebook. And there are a lot of ways to import a dataset into the project. If your dataset is a CSV file, you could use pandas read CSV method. It could be an Excel file or it could be a text file. There are different functions for them. But in this case, we use Titanic dataset from Seaborn library and we assign this to our DF, which represents our data frame. I'm running these cells by pressing Shift and Command. And here my data frame is created. If I would like to have a very first look at the dataset, we could use head method. Let's run it and it just brings us the first 5 rows of our data frame. We could use an argument here. If we'd like to see more rows, we can give just an argument here. And we can have an overall idea about our variables. We could see if they are numerical or categorical. And if we'd like to see the shape of the data frame, we could use shape method. It just gives us the total number of rows and columns. And here we have info method. And this brings us all the D types, which means data types of our variables. Look at this survived variable, it's integer. And look at the age, it's float. Look at the embarked, it's object. So we have different data types here. And if we have numerical values and we would like to see their statistical values, which means once we run the describe method here, we can have the count, mean, standard deviation, minimum values and maximum values, and we could see some distribution between 25%, 50%, 70% of this data. But here is a problem. For example, P class here. Passenger class means first class, second class, and third class. But in this data set, they used numerical values. In fact, it's representing a categorical information, not numerical value. So we need to change data types of this variable. That is something we need to pay attention on. And on the next step, we're going to check if there is any duplicate values in this data set. And for this, we can use duplicated method. This sum method will give us the total number of duplicated values. Let's run this cell and see how many duplicated values we have. We have 107 duplicates. So we are going to remove them. How? We can use drop duplicates method. And it takes one argument, the keep argument. If we set this keep argument as first, it will save the first of the duplicates and remove the rest. And we use in place argument as true because we want this change to be permanent in our data frame. If we don't set in place argument as true, that means the changes we made here won't affect our data frame. So our data frame will remain the same. That's why we need to use this in place argument as true. Let's run this cell and let's reset our indexes because some rows will be deleted and the indexes will be unordered. So we need to use reset index here to just make our indexes ordered. So let's run this cell and see here the total number of our rows decreased because we removed the duplicates. Okay, in the final step, we need to deal with the missing values. But how to check if there are missing values or not? There is a function called isNull, and if we can add the sum function on it, that will give us the total number of null values. Let's run it and see. So we have 106 null values in our age variable, and we have 582 values which is null in the deck variable. So we need to deal with them. We can remove them, but it will just take a lot of part of our data set. That doesn't make sense. If we have a larger data sets like millions of rows and we have only like 500 or 1000 null values, we can just delete them and get rid of them. That will make sense. But in this case, because we have only 784 rows and if we just delete around 600 of them, it doesn't make sense at all. We just ruin the data set. We don't have enough data to train the model. In this case, we need to come up with other solutions, and filling the missing values with mean value for numerical variables, that would something that we can consider. And for our age variable, if we just find the mean value here, let's just add another cell here and see the mean value of the age. So that is 29. We could use this mean value to fill the null values in the age variable, and to do that we can use fillNA function, and fillNA function needs one argument. So this is mean. We are telling the fillNA function just go to age variable and fill all the possible NAs with mean value, which is 29. And again, you see in place argument is set true because we want this change to be permanent. So let's run this, and let's run this is null sum function one more time to see if this worked or not. Yeah, we have 0. That means it worked. Similar process for our dec variable. Let's see how many values which are null here. Because the dec variable is not numerical, is categorical, so we can't do the same thing for dec variable. So we are going to have another approach for dec variable, and just go to with value counts function that will give us the value counts for each observation unit in this variable. As you can see here, the most frequent one is C. So we can fill the NAs with this value, and to do that again we are using fillNA function by giving the C parameter here, and we make in place is true. So let's run this cell and check if it worked or not. Now our data is clean and consistent. In the next video we will move to the second step, which is data exploration and analysis. See you on the next video.